Hello everyone, and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from SJR, and he's in the Akatsuki, a tier 7 Japanese destroyer. He's on the map Neighbors, 3-point domination game, tier 7 battle with a sub and a carrier. So, it's gonna be awkward. And it looks like there is a Mars pushing in. Now we saw Furutaka come in too. Being spotted here is... only the Mars is shooting him. For some reason the Furutaka isn't doing anything. The enemy Mars is smoking up, but not very well. Also Mars has Hydro, so I don't think those torps will do much. SGI is playing with fire here though, because he isn't that well angled, and there is going to be fish in the water. Especially the reverse, if the torps would catch him now, he'd be in a lot of trouble. But it looks like he's shooting them. And, oh, a wild Furutaka appears. Oh wait, what's that doing? Oh no, it can't be that. Really? It pushed the Mars in a torp too. Okay, so let's summarize that Furutaka never fired its guns. It came in here, had 1 or 2 spotted destroyers in front of it, didn't actually engage, and then pushed its own friendly destroyer into a torpedo for double strike. Well, that's a good start, and poor Mars, I feel sorry. I feel sorry for that Mars. Anyway. So, usually, in a situation like this, or from the start, like Viper and SJR would have split up, and one of them would have captured B. But the problem is that the friendly ships that spawned around C all abandoned it. We see the Colorado that went actually behind islands there in the back to be as useless as possible. We had the, I think, a Königsberg that was somewhat around, but also tried to be not very helpful. And that's why SJR and Viper decided to stick together, because if they'd split up, it would have only been 1 destroyer here, with absolutely no support. Now, since they have taken control of the cap, they could once again send one of them towards B. And honestly, I personally would have probably done that. But there are still 2 battleships pushing in, there is still no support here. And technically there's a submarine that could cap B, there is still a carrier to provide spotting, there's still another destroyer down there to provide spotting. So it's not like they're necessarily needed in the center. Right, I mean, that sub is going to be into B soon, and it can cap, just like a destroyer can. Meanwhile, with 2 of them here, hopefully, they'll stop the friendly battleship push. I mean, that's a lot of fish going towards New Mexico. Unfortunately, there is a New Mexico-sized gap. And, yeah, that's a shame. I mean, torpedoing ships from the nose is always tricky. As usual. They'll have an easier time dodging. But, you know, would have been nice to get at least a nose torp. Now, the New Mexico certainly knows they are here. There is Rook still pushing in, that's now getting closer. The New Mexico, on the other hand, is turning. It's unclear, obviously, if it's going to follow the Rook or if it's just gonna turn around and leave. Now, torpedoes are going to be ready again soon. And we'll see what they can do against the Rook. Now, Akatsuki concealment is pretty bad, unfortunately. Well, bad is relative, I suppose. I never understood why it's so much worse than the Shiratsuyu, especially since the Akatsuki is technically the torpedo line with good concealment. But be that as it may. So, Rook is coming in, and there are fishes in the water. So both destroyers have held some fish back in order to get some follow-up hits there. Oh, it looks like the Rook is gonna eat those, right? Now that will also pull the damage con. So if they can get a follow-up hit, they'll have a sticky flooding. Now SJR could consider smoking up here, although the Rook is on very low health. And he might be hoping that the torps finish it off. Also with Viper behind the island, there would no longer be spotting. Unless the Rook shoots. You also have to keep in mind that the Rook does have torpedoes on its own. And it's very awkward if you get torpedoed in your smokescreen by a battleship. Well, the Rook, unfortunately, is avoiding all the fish. It's still fine. But it's fired its guns now. So SJI is going to smoke up. That gives him 20 seconds of visibility where he can hopefully set a fire. If he can set a... Oh, there is the fire, yeah. Now the Rook has damage con earlier. It's gonna go down here. Meanwhile, the New Mexico has left. I guess it saw the amount of fish and it was like, nope, nope, I'll have none of them. Now the friendlies have gotten P, and both teams are equal on ships. So far, it's not looking too bad. The friendly carrier seems to be spotting there some destroyers that Scone is running away. The other destroyer is coming more towards speed though. So it might be time to actually go there and defend B. The New Mexico is... I mean, there is a sub here, right? If the New Mexico continues this way, it's gonna be full broadside in front of the Colorado and the Iron Duke. And it's also very close to a submarine, so I can't see the New Mexico surviving much longer. I think I'd be going like directly here towards B. And SJR probably agrees with that assessment, because he is turning that way. Also, you know what, we can slightly speed this up, because currently there is nothing happening right now. We don't really have much vision on the enemies. Now the good news is that means the enemy isn't pushing that hard, I guess. Although there goes another friendly ship. And oh, Viper got the New Mexico. That's lovely. So, and slow this down here again. Our Akatsuki has arrived at the fighting once more. There are some nasty planes in the air for being a nuisance. The friendly Colorado is gonna go down. And it looks like 2 enemy destroyers are coming for the B camp. Now, of course, they don't have Hydro. And there is no radar. SJR does have a smoke ready, so he could just go in and block that. First he's gonna launch some fish though, hoping to catch them off guard. And he's actually turning away. Now personally I would have gone in there. There is a Galician coming this way. You have, especially at the lower tiers, be more conscious of who's just pushing you with Hydro, something that happens a little bit less, I suppose, on the higher tiers. Where players are a little bit more... well, most of the time players are a little bit more passive. But we'll see. So... oh, those torps could hit the Scone is down. Unfortunately, that interrupt here was a little bit too late. And oh, that torp was dodged. That's a shame. I was hoping that the enemy destroyer would be sunk here as well. Of course, we have the problematic situation of staying in this smoke is gonna be a problem because of torpedoes. And there is the Galician. As I said earlier, you've got to be careful at this tier with cruisers pushing you with Hydro. A lot more so than on higher tiers. I mean, even on higher tiers it's gonna happen, especially since the friendlies don't have that big of a force here anymore. And we're getting into the later stages of the game. But cruisers can be a bit more aggressive anyway. The biggest problem here is the friendlies lost the B camp, so that's not a problem just yet, but that might be a problem in the future. The good news is the Galicianaire is sailing right into those fishies. And that's that. There's another nice Death Strike. Meanwhile, it looks like the enemy destroyer is coming for C. And the friendly Ranger seems to be detected. The Ranger is moving though. I think the Ranger needs to move more towards the A line here.
Roger.
But there aren't that many big enemy ships left to shoot it. And oh, if SJR could get this destroyer, that would be very helpful for the friendly carrier as well. Looks like the destroyer is mostly interested in the carrier anyway. It's not really engaging SJR. Well, it is now. It's also smoking up, but can he sink it here with blind fire? Not with this salvo. But hey, he's not detected, so might as well try again. And there we go! That's a Kraken. The fish is easily dodged. That's good news. And the Ranger keeps... Well, I mean, at this point, the Ranger needs to be careful because there is more stuff coming in from the left. So the Ranger is actually going the wrong way. It needs to go more like A10. We don't know what the York's gonna do, but sailing like more in front of the Rio de Janeiro is gonna be a problem. The enemy carrier might be keeping our carrier spotted. There goes our New Orleans. Yeah, losing B is really going to become a long-term problem. Viper, meanwhile, has been a little bit cut off from the center. Like, he can't go directly. Yeah, he's going to run into Rio de Janeiro. Or maybe not, he's toward the Rio de Janeiro. Okay, now that opens Viper up to come back. There's still 6 minutes left. The Viper could also just go here for A. I mean, from his position, A isn't that much further than B, and maybe he can get the carrier as well. That would be beneficial. Now here we have a York problem. If SJR could get that York here, that would be huge. Of course, York has a very powerful Hydro, so it might help it avoid some fish. The friendly carrier is staying here behind this island. This is good. The carrier needs to be safe from the York because there's nothing else left to shoot and because there isn't much else left for the enemy. Well, honestly, the enemy carrier should be hunting destroyers. We'll see if he does that. So there is the York. SJR is deploying a smoke screen. Unfortunately, the York has avoided the fish. But York Hydro is 5.5, I think, or maybe 6. It's not running right now, so it might be on cooldown. Now, if SJR leaves, he's just gonna be spotted by planes, so he's doomed anyway. I mean, thankfully there is an island, so he has some cover here. He's not getting away from the detection between the planes and the Hydro. And oh, there is a sub too. This is a problem. A Viper has spotted the carrier. Unfortunately, the carrier isn't just sitting there, the carrier is running. Carrier... Well, speaking of carriers running, the Ranger is running too. Unfortunately, though, the York will probably have shots in. SJR is in a problematic spot. He's going to be spotted here. He wants to keep close to this island to have some cover, but there is also the sub. And the sub's gonna use that spotting to farm him. I'm not sure why the sub's on the surface, mind you. The sub has realized the same thing. Then again, now that SJR is out of the Hydro range, sub no longer has spotting. Might actually work. Maybe SJR can charge the sub, get it with depth charges. The York, meanwhile... Oh, there is a hit into the York. It's gonna slow down the York a bit. Now, if the carrier could sink the York, that would be fabulous. Let's go with that word. Now, sub is spotted here. It's too far away for depth charges, though. The sub will unfortunately just launch some torps here. And I haven't seen it. We also haven't seen a ping. Oh, there is the torp. And Akatsuki doesn't turn well enough. Well, there is that. But apparently he still got the sub with a fire. Well, that's nice. Meanwhile, the carrier still has a drop in it. The carrier got taken out by the York, but will the carrier get revenge? Maybe. The sad truth though is, the only way to win this is for Viper to sink the carrier, and the carrier is running away, so there's nothing Viper can do. Because the gunpower for Shiratsuyu will never be enough to deal with a carrier like this. So there is 2 minutes remaining, and in those 2 minutes, the carrier will just be getting away and winning this game. I mean, it might even sink Viper. Not that it matters at this point. So, as sad as it is, this is a defeat. This is heartbreaking. So, SJR and Viper did a lot of work there. They sunk 9 ships between the two of them. Still was a loss though. Still was a loss. And they got basically all the medals. They got the Team Confederate, the Team Kraken. I mean, SJR got his own Kraken, his own Confederate. Got the Strike Team, they got the Brothers in Arms. They got everything. Except for a win. They didn't get a win. Oh well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. And I'll see you next time.